One summer's evening, Lisa Fandrich spotted an elderly man pushing his wheelchair and a walker across an overpass in Phoenix, Arizona. And over the next few months, the man became a regular sight in the area. Fandrich, however, was brokenhearted at the thought of the gentleman's predicament. So one day she decided to ask what he was doing. Hello, wonderful people. I'm Scott Leffler for WonderBot. And here is, drivers pass this old man on the street every night. Then a woman stopped to ask him who he is. Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos. Fandrich works as both a health coach at Beachbody and as a barista at Starbucks in Phoenix. It was while she was going about her daily business, moreover, that she spotted the elderly gentleman. And that wouldn't be the only time Fandrich would see him either. As Fandrich described to 12 News, "I saw this elderly man crossing the overpass on the 51 in the middle of summer at 8:30 p.m. at night, pushing his wheelchair and a walker. It was a sight that the health coach found somewhat upsetting." Indeed, as Fandrich would later write on the GoFundMe page, "There have been several times I've actually gone out of my way to drive another way home because seeing him there has brought me to tears." But when she had caught a glimpse of him, she'd spotted something on the elderly man's walker. It seemed he had a purpose. Hanging from the walker aid was a sign and some lights, with the notice reading, "Copper coins for sale." And the vision moved Fandrich considerably. "I felt, why would someone his age have to be out here in the Phoenix heat working? It's not fair," she told 12 News. And yet the more Fandrich saw the old man, the more she wondered about him. Who was he? Where had he come from? What was he doing selling coins in the scorching Phoenix heat? So one day she drove up to his usual spot to find out. And sure enough, the man, whom locals know only as Paul, had set up his makeshift stall right there. So Fandrich pulled up. "I didn't see any water there, so I stopped and got a couple bottles of water," she said. "Then I said, it's time for me to hear his story, because there's a reason why he's here." It turned out that Paul had moved to Phoenix 37 years ago. Now, in his late 70s, he and his wife of 54 years rely on Social Security to make ends meet. And so Paul sells his coins to make some extra cash. He sticks faithfully to his spot under the illuminated sign of Church's Chicken and stays until the lights go out. Fandrich admitted to Paul that she'd driven past him under the Church's Chicken sign for months and had been worried about him all that time. To that, the elderly man, whom locals know to be sweet and genuine, replied simply, "God watches out for me." And as Fandrich had $10 with her, she asked Paul to find his two favorite coins and promptly bought them. Touched by his story and the tenacity he showed by grafting in the sweltering Phoenix heat, Fandrich then took his picture and eventually posted a story online. There, Fandrich set up a GoFundMe page in an attempt to drum up a little support for Paul and his wife. And when a news anchor in San Francisco shared the post, the story went viral and the fundraiser became a roaring success. Soon enough, in fact, locals and well-wishers from further afield had raised over $10,000 for Paul and his wife. In the process, Fandrich also learned that she wasn't the first to have struck up a friendship with the coin seller. Indeed, it seemed as if Paul had been busy trading his wares for several years. He stays here until the Church's Chicken sign goes off most nights, just about rain or shine. Tyler Carl, who befriended Paul several years ago, told 12 News. "He's one of the nicest, most genuine people you'll ever meet. One of the most trusting people as well." Paul's presence also hasn't gone unnoticed by workers at the fast food joint he works in front of. Staff regularly check on the old man, wary of any trouble that he may encounter. But when Carl stopped by to tell Paul about the money collected for him, he wasn't there. Perhaps Paul's disappearance had something to do with having no more coins to sell. After all, when his story went viral, the old man suddenly received an influx of new customers. Small groups would arrive to buy Paul's coins and stick around to talk to him. But there was more going on in the shy old man's life than many people realized. Weeks after the story broke, Paul's wife was admitted to hospital. Every day, the elderly gentleman gave up his spot in front of the fast food restaurant to remain by his wife's bedside. When Fandrich finally tracked Paul down, though, and told him of the money that had been raised, the usually reserved Paul's emotions got the better of him. The barista explained on the GoFundMe page, When I met Paul tonight and gave him some information about what you've all done, he cried. He grabbed my hand and held on tight.
Yeah, this is Paul, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. My wife and I, how blessed we are that you guys helped us so much. And God will reward you openly and bless you as well. And we just thank you and praise God for having friends like you and Lisa. And also just keep the faith and stay strong and let not your heart be troubled or even be afraid. Just stand firm and see how the power of God can work in each one of our lives. And we hope to have peace and love and joy.